Hey everyone, welcome back to my Astromech channel. So for a while now I've known that eventually I was going to have to tear the R6 down to its little bits for final paint. And over the last couple of videos you may have seen that I'd started that process. Now over the last week I finally got everything repainted and the droid reassembled, at least back to the state that it was in a few weeks ago. If you've been watching these videos, you've probably heard me say multiple times now that I'm going to come back and do the final finish on parts later on. The further on I went, the more daunting that task started to feel, but I finally had to just bite the bullet and dig into it. The body paint and accents follow the original design pretty close, with a medium dark gray main color and red and black accents. Of course, everything needed a little bit of body shopping before paint to take care of some construction abuse, but this was mostly just a bit of light sanding. The paint application itself went pretty well, and after a couple of days to cure, I started to reassemble. I haven't totally settled on the dome paint yet, but it's very likely that I'll stick to the original idea of a light gray with the red and black accents. Now, when I first started this project, I really wasn't sure where it would end up. The body started out as an experiment that just kept evolving, and I wasn't even sure if this droid would be able to move. As things started to come together, I got bolder with my plans and I decided that, yes, this thing will move on its own, and the dome's going to rotate. Then I started to think about opening doors and panels and moving utility arms and other toys. Recently, though, I've spoken to a few other builders, and I took a few minutes to really watch an R2 move through a crowd at a convention, and I've started to rethink these things. Today, I'm considering finishing this droid off with very few moving parts. I may not install the utility arms that I've been working on. I'm certainly not going to have any opening body panels. This is going to simplify the build and get me to the finish line a lot faster, but also make T3X more durable and reliable. Putting the droid back together this time, I went ahead and assembled it in a much more permanent way. I used thread lock on the leg bolts and adhesives where I thought it was appropriate. Some of the components that are held together with screws got a bit of adhesive as well. I'm using an automotive adhesive that's used for trim and emblems in some spots. I did some testing with it and it seems to hold pretty well, but it's not entirely permanent. It'll let go with a bit of persuasion. I'm also using some high bond emblem tape in a few places. Now that the body is painted and reassembled, I have 4 categories of tasks left. I have the body details, which include finishing off all the vents, the coin returns, and other components. This will be a mixture of 3D printing and aluminum work. Then I've got the dome. This means finishing up some detail pieces and painting. I think the biggest thing still on my list is the feet. This will include the foot shells, which I've been working on, plus the drive system, which I stalled on last year. I have a pretty good plan in place for this, but I just need to get back to it and run a few more tests. The last part, and one that I'm itching to get to, is all the electronics. Like the drive system, I've done some preliminary work on this already, and I think it'll come together quick and painlessly. Then amongst all of that, I'll also be redesigning the dome to address the few issues that I have with this first version. In upcoming videos, this thing should really start to take shape, and I hope you guys are excited to see that as I am. I'm already doing some work on finishing up the dome, so you're probably going to see some more of that before I move on to the feet. Okay, so that's it for this update. Until next time, remember, the fear of loss is a path to the dark side.